Welcome to the shit show! It's Rider Club Radio. I'm your host, Jeff.
And I'm Liam.
And today we're going to start out by talking about Kamen Rider Ghost Episode 3.
Oh, you almost, I saw you struggling with it there.
No, I said it smooth as fucking butter,
You're
buddy.
Like 3?
No, I slid it out on the table.
Okay,
3.
right.
What happened in today's episode, Liam? Everybody loves your long-winded horse shit. What happened?
Of course. So this week on Ghost, someone is stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, and they're like a magical thief named Little John, and Gramps predicts, oh, this week, the new toy we're going to put out is the Ghost icon of Robin Hood. So you're going to get that this week, and a Robin Hood character is stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. And the rich guy that gets someone stolen from him, he's a bad guy. He's like a swindling politician or something. And he had some art pieces stolen from him. He had a thing stolen from him, and he enlists the help of the ghost hunting agency that they started to track down the shit and to catch Little John.
Yeah, like Ghost Laboratories or something?
It's
a really ridiculous name for what they do.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember the exact name.
Paranormal Laboratories, I think is what it is.
There's some sort of ghost agency. I think it's Paranormal Phenomenon Investigation Agency, something like that.
No, it has laboratory in it. Well, it's the only thing I remember, and that's dumb.
They do have a lab, though.
Fuck off! What else happened?
So the rich asshole, he enlists the help of the guys to track down Little John, and they go and do it. Because there's obviously some Ganma nonsense going on, because the thief is magic. So Takeru goes and, for some reason, just on a hunch, he stalks the reporter who was reporting on it. And he talks to the reporter, and the reporter says, oh, Takeru, I'm the thief, I'm Little John.
She pretty much does, and Takeru's like, man, I wonder who Little John is.
She doesn't, I should say, in case anyone thinks I'm serious, she doesn't actually tell him, but it's so inescapably obvious. It's unbelievable.
At the end of the conversation, she walks away, like, all dejected, and she's like, I tried to become a journalist to give my type of justice, but I failed, so I had to look otherwhere wise or some shit. And Takeru's just like, boy, that's suspicious. Anyway, I better find out who Little John is.
So Onari, the guy who was enlisted, he goes to the place and he stakes the place out where something's going to get stolen. And sure enough, Little John busts in and he steals she. Everyone thinks it's a guy, even though it's really obviously a girl. She steals a bow and arrow belonging to the real historical Robin Hood, and
the one who really lived, who's totally not just from a story.
The true artifact bought from a museum in England for serious. Onari gets his ass kicked, and Takeru appears, even though he wasn't there before. He just sort of jumps into the frame, and he also gets his ass kicked. He gets like the Ganma appears, and it's like an axe Ganma, and it hits him with a bunch of shit and then runs away. So he's all confused and shit, and meanwhile Akari, in the lab downstairs, perfects a little formula that helps her, like, spray a bunch of gold dust on Ganma and other sorts of ghosts, and it makes them visible.
Yeah, because the old ghost man, the sage, wants to put his ghostly penis in her, so he gives her the formula.
He helps her because she's a cutie, that's what he says.
Yeah. That's his real reason.
I guess that's his...
What a fucking old pervert.
To be fair, I mean, if he's dead, we don't know how long he's been dead. When's the last time he got any?
Who knew that the sage is a fucking sex weirdo?
Give him some dust.
This is a children's show, you know?
Give him some gold dust and give him enough money to rent a girl for an hour or so.
I don't remember that happening.
That was cut out. That scene was destroyed.
I must have went to the bathroom during that, really.
So Onari tracks Little John to her hideout, but he gets caught. And just before he gets caught, he calls Takeru on the Condor phone, which he for some reason knows the number to. And he says, oh, Takeru...
Yeah, how the fuck does he know the number to that phone?
Let's get into this a little bit. I have a lot to say about this episode.
I have a question.
No. There is a lot.
Go ahead.
We're gonna get into this. We're gonna get deeper into this later. He calls Takeru on the Condor phone. Takeru picks it up, and he's like, oh, what's up, Onari? And Onari gets dragged away before he can, like, tell him where he is. And it turns out the Condor phone is a living phone. It's like one of the little gadget thingies from...
It's a Condor. Who knew?
Yeah. Wow. What a fucking twist. And it flies off and it leads Takeru and Akari to the scene of the crime. So they go there, and Onari's tied up, and he almost gets killed by the Ganma, but then they arrive, and they spray the Ganma with gold dust, so it becomes visible, and it's all like an axe Ganma. And then, it turns out that Ganma, like, feed off of... It feeds off their personal motivation.
Feeds off their dreams.
Their dreams.
What'd I say, buddy?
I still don't see it, but...
You're a fucker.
And then the Ganma kills them to summon the ghost. They're like a sacrifice to create the Eyecon. So Takeru says, fuck that. I know you just established this rule, but I'm gonna hug her real hard, and that's gonna create the Eyecon.
The fucking power of friendship is the strongest element in the Japanese elemental cycle.
Yeah, well, apparently...
It's right above fire.
Apparently, because it works, and he gets the Robin Hood soul, and he fights the axe monster.
He uses all of his forms before he uses Robin Hood.
Just to remind you, hey, these toys are still around. He fights the axe monster, he wins, and the bad guys do a little snarl, and that's the end of the episode.
Onari actually makes himself useful for a second as well. He's the one who notices the weakness in the Ganma's attack.
He's got a shield, and Onari notices how to get through it. So, there's his reason for existence. Jeff, what did you think...
Way to go, you brilliant bald bastard.
What did you think of Kamen Rider Ghost Episode 3?
I like this episode better than the previous one.
Really?
Yeah. Mostly because Akari was not horrifically annoying during this episode.
That's true. She's really improving.
Onari made himself useful. He didn't just stand around and scream. We're getting a little bit more into Ghost's actual personality. Not the one that was set up like this is what he was like before he became a ghost.
Yeah.
He's becoming like a determined hero.
He's stabilizing out, yeah.
He's still kind of a dork
as
well.
The beginning and ending are kind of where you see Takeru in his normal environment, and you get to see just how he acts as a normal person.
And I like the idea of, although she wasn't particularly developed, the journalist who became Little John in order to get revenge on the big business types that killed her dad in an alleyway, I guess.
Yeah.
They, the big businessmen came together and shot her dad in an alley.
Yeah, I don't know. The details are fuzzy.
The details are fuzzy because we know jack shit about this character because it's a 20-minute show.
Yeah.
But it was still a pretty cool parallel to draw. Like, Takeru could have been an entirely different type of character under different circumstances. Mm-hmm. And it's the Ganma's influence that caused this.
Yeah.
So we're getting a reason to dislike the Ganma.
Which is nice. Set up early.
I mean, the Ganma are evil ghost monsters. It's difficult to like them.
Yeah.
In general. But it gives us a motivation to dislike them.
Yeah.
Not a stellar episode.
I didn't like this episode very much,
really?
actually. Yeah, I kind of didn't like it. I hate Onari, I've decided.
He's kind of annoying.
I can't stand him.
He doesn't bug me that bad.
He's worse than Chief Hunganji was in the early episodes.
I liked Chief Hunganji.
I didn't like him in the early episodes, and Onari is similar in that he exists so that he can, like, mug for the camera and yell as loud as he can, and every fucking line he says is, like, he's always, like, making a silly face and screaming really loud and leaping around, and, like, 3/4 of his dialogue is just interjectory, and then at the end they're like, we gotta have him do something, so, just have him notice that the Ganma's got a weakness, you know? Even though...
maybe that could be his thing. He's, like, far more perceptive than the others.
Maybe he like knows
a normal
ghosts.
Level of perceptive, since the others are completely blind to the fact that his shield is opening for him to throw shit through it.
It was happening pretty fast, but, like...
I guess.
He knows ghosts, that could be his thing, like, he could be the analysis guy, I guess. That wouldn't make me like him.
He doesn't know ghosts, that's the joke.
I mean, that could be the direction they take him as the series goes along. But I still hate him. If he stays like this, I can't stand him. He just irritates me every time he opens his mouth. He crosses the line into, like, it's not funny. It's like they're trying to force him to be funny by acting over the top all the time, but if he's over the top all the time, every single waking moment of his life, it's not funny.
I don't find him funny. I do find him somewhat endearing. That's about it.
Okay. I did like the direction they're taking Akari.
Yeah.
We complained last few episodes that she doesn't believe in ghosts, but now she believes in ghosts, but she's taking the scientific approach, which is nice. It sticks with her character, but
it's the best route they could possibly take her character without changing it completely.
Yeah, exactly. This episode also had a lot of nonsensical shit in it.
Very true.
When Onari is staking out the mansion and he starts getting his ass kicked by the Ganma, Takeru just jumps into the frame.
That's Showa as fuck.
He wasn't there before.
At least he has a reason to be able to jump into frame in that he can turn invisible whenever he wants.
Yeah, but it would have been nice to have one shot, maybe, to say that, to show us that he's there, like, invisible, instead of just having him just leap in from off camera. Oh, he's here, by the way. Like
You've seen Stronger, haven't you?
I've seen
Stronger. You watched
Stronger.
the whole series. Doesn't he jump into frame constantly?
I don't remember. Black did a few times.
Oh, yeah.
But, like,
and
this...
Hongo does in every episode.
But this ain't that. This is different.
No.
It's a different tone, and it doesn't work very well. It's just... I don't like the way it's abrupt.
I think it's because we knew he was in a different location.
Yeah.
Like, one scene before, and there was no transition. He was just there.
Yeah, it's...
When it comes to writers in Showa showing up, like, leaping into frame, we know they're running towards that situation.
Yeah. I also didn't like how obvious the twist was. I know twists in Kamen Rider can't be too complex, but this one was unbelievable. Like, you from the first...
Could you really consider it a twist, though? I think we were supposed to know.
I don't know. If we were supposed to know, it's a kid's show. If you were supposed to know, they would have told you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, someone would have said, I think that reporter might be her. But, like, the second they show the reporter, and then it seems like it's finished, and then they go back to the TV and they mention her name, then you're like, oh, she's gonna have something, she's gonna be more involved than you think she is. And then you meet her in the parking garage, and then you're just like, okay, I know exactly how this episode is going to go from now on. Like,
as soon as he went to go speak with her, you were like, all right, this is Little John.
Yeah, it's.
I could agree with that. It was pretty damn in your face, and I'm not gonna use like the it's just a kid's show bullshit reason or whatever, but that didn't really detract from the episode to me. It was an establishment episode. But it was handled better than the previous two establishment episodes.
I say no. I think Rider can have twists that are obvious. Rider has had twists that are obvious.
Absolutely.
But nothing this obvious. And sometimes there were, like, Drive, just the last season before this, had twists that actually came a little bit out of nowhere. I know that I keep citing this arc, but the little photography monster two-parter was a very good example of this. And most of the twists in Drive weren't heinous. You didn't know them right away. This one, it's like immediate. Oh, I know exactly. Like, you know, when you know how it's going to play out, when you know who the thief is, it's not fun. It's not exciting to watch. It's not as exciting, at least.
I think Drive did that so often because it was trying to emulate, like, cop shows, where you have to figure out who the villain is, and they tried to be a little sneaky with it. It got a little obvious later on who it was going to be when they got a little formulaic.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't think Ghost is really going for that, and I think this ties into my previous point that I made last episode. I think Ghost is aiming a little younger than previous writers, even.
Yeah, like, post-decade, you can tell the audience kind of shifts younger, but this one, from what we've seen so far, at least, seems to be aiming even younger.
Yeah, it seems like everything's a little simplified.
Yeah, and it leaves some strange bits, like we were talking before. How did Onari know the number to the Condor phone? He just calls it. How does Ghost... How did the summoning of the fucking Eyecon work if it was... I guess...
he hugged her real hard.
No, hang on. No, it mentions last episode that the way to summon the Eyecon is you need the object, and you need a person who has a strong connection with the figure, and you gotta draw the eye symbol. But then...
Yeah, he did that.
Yeah, and then in this episode... Then they say, oh, also, you kill someone.
Yeah, that was out of nowhere. Like, does drawing the eye not kill somebody? They should explain that, or at least mention it.
Drawing the eye obviously doesn't kill anyone.
No, that's what I mean. Is that the way to get around killing somebody to make the icon?
I guess. I think this needs one episode of setup. It's just a lot of shit just sort of happens in this episode. Like, it's just flying at you. I don't know. I didn't like it much. I give it a low score.
I will say I enjoyed the cameo in this episode, which is the world-famous underpass under a bridge with gravel everywhere and water beside it from such shows as Gaim, Kabuto, Agito, And I think it might have even been in Kiva.
It's been in every toku show you've ever seen in your life. I was thinking, you said a cameo, and I was like, was there an actor in this episode I missed? And then, no, you were talking about the underpass. And yeah, I noticed that too, when they're fighting, and the axe is fighting Ghost for the first time, and they jump, and they go from being inside of a mansion to landing outside, which is one of my favorite little things about Rider.
There was also a return to one of my favorite things from Drive, which is an enemy running off camera, glass shattering sound effect, and then they're completely in the middle of a fucking forest.
That wasn't so bad. There was at least a flimsy explanation for how they got outside. Instead of just jumping, and then instead of like smashing through a wall or a ceiling, they just fucking land or something. It was, I don't know. I like that. I think that's an endearing little thing about Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
It's not annoying.
The only thing that could have made it even more endearing is if they jumped out, and they jumped up, and then they fell down inside of a rock quarry. That would have been classic Rider.
I will say this, okay? I didn't like the episode. I will say I'm very, very excited for the next episode. Because it looks like...
the next episode is when all kinds of shit happens.
It looks like we're getting Spectre pretty early.
At least in, like, a cameo type appearance. Like an early, here's this guy, who's he, mysterious appearance.
Oh, I hope they don't do that. I want him to be involved already.
I mean, in the preview, they show him, like, turn around towards the camera, transformed or whatever. Yeah. I think that's kind of all we're gonna get, is him, like, turning around and then Ghost being like, oh my god, who are you? And then he'll run away or something.
I don't know. We had that footage weeks ago of them having a fight with the Ganma involved. Remember, that was a long time ago we had that footage, so we're probably gonna get it soon.
People were predicting that would be about episode 5, and I think I'm gonna, I don't know. I would love for that to be next episode. I don't want a preview, like, just putting a tip in type episode. A beautiful analogy I just made, by the way.
I'm sorry, I just sandbagged it.
What the fuck? I don't know why I said that.
Well, it's an appropriate analogy. I mean, not like appropriate for all audiences. I mean, like it works.
It's appropriate for the children who watch Kamen Rider
Absolutely,
Ghost.
and the children who listen to our podcast.
If you're a child listening to this, go tell your fucking parents that you're awful.
If you're under like 27 and you're listening to this podcast, just turn it off.
How old are you making yourself out to be?
If you were not alive during World War II, you're not old enough to listen to this podcast.
If you were not a child watching Hiroshi Fujioka on your Japanese television in the 70s,
you're a fucking fraud.
Then get the fuck out of here. We're old.
So, Ghost Episode 3, you liked it?
I liked it better than I don't know. The first episode, I liked better than the second one.
Okay.
And I like this one
agree.
better than the second one.
I don't agree.
But I don't think I like this one better than the first one.
Yeah, so you think your tier list is 1, 3, 2 so far?
I don't want to do tier lists, because we'll have to do that for the whole fucking
series.
We're
not going to do tier lists for the whole fucking series. Just early now, to easily...
Just this episode. This is the last fucking tier list.
Later on, it's going to be like, okay, 15, 27, 1, 18, 50.
50.
You want to listen to a podcast where it's just us saying numbers over and over again?
Tune in for the final episode of Kamen Rider Ghostcast. What if we just renamed our fucking podcast for every Kamen Rider series?
That's not very good branding.
Ghost Club Radio.
Ugh.
It was alright. I wouldn't say that this is a great episode. I probably wouldn't even say that this is a good episode, but I liked it more than the previous two. It gives me, it's an uptick on the chart of my enjoyment.
Okay. I was quite disappointed by it, but despite what you may think, you are allowed to have different opinions from me. That's fine.
I hear on the internet that you have awful opinions.
I've heard that. Yeah, that's the word on the street, but that's the word on the street from people who enjoy being wrong.
Oh shit. He just called you out right in your hate mail to riderclubradio@gmail.com.
No, I know I got shit taste. It's okay.
/fuck Liam. Let's talk a little bit about some of your problems in this episode, Liam. I want to get like deep into the crevices of this episode.
Was there anything you wanted to particular, or?
I want to know how you feel about the Condor phone becoming a bow and arrow that has a trigger.
I like that. You know what? I thought that was fine. I thought that looked pretty cool.
I thought it was silly, especially because every time he fires an arrow, it makes a condor sound.
Well, it's
every time he shoots an arrow, it goes.
It's a condor phone turning into a bow. So
what does that have to do with Robin Hood?
I don't know. It's a toy. They have to have a toy. The sword can't become a bow, so they had to have another toy to like go into it. You know?
Look, Liam.
Okay.
They are disgracing the memory of the real man, Robin Hood,
this is so disrespectful.
Who saved all the peasants of England for all time.
I think, look, I should lay this out right now. I think on a purely aesthetic level, I adore Ghost. I think it looks great. The costumes are really cool. The special effects are nice. I like the fight choreography.
I'm just joking. I actually like the condor bow.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just fucking with you. I think Ghost is beautiful.
Yeah.
Everything in this show looks great. Even the cinematography is really good.
Yeah. The cinematography it's different from Drive, and I like the music quite a bit so far.
I could take or leave the opening theme.
I like the opening theme, but like even the background music during the show, it's got more like a more ambient, more mystical feel. It reminds me a little bit of, there's one tune, I don't know the name of it because I don't think the soundtrack is out yet, but there's one tune that reminds me of like songs you would hear in like Dynasty Warriors 5 or something like that. If you ever played Dynasty Warriors, if you like that shit.
Oh.
Did you play the older ones?
Fucking nerd.
Yeah, I know. Did you
Who
ever?
knew?
No.
Yeah, I played Dynasty Warriors 5.
Yeah, you might know what I'm talking about if you played it for 100 hours like I did.
I don't know if I played it for 100 hours.
I played it a lot. I played that game a shitload.
I remember there being some tunes that were kind of ambient.
I like them. I really like the music in this season, and I like the belt sound too. I don't think we've talked about that.
I like the belt in general now. I think it looks hideous, but I love that he summons it, and I love that he doesn't have to like pull a bunch of doodads to fucking do it. He's got one, he puts it in, he's done.
It reminds me of early Heisei. How
like a Kuga or an Agito, where he like holds his hands down and the belt appears.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's cool that they're doing that again.
Yeah, I like the like pull the belt out of your asshole and slap it on and it like connects around. That's cool. But they've been doing that for fucking ever.
Yeah, the way that he puts on the Ghost Driver is a nice little mix-up. I think it's nice.
It's mystical as well. Like, you shouldn't have to slap something on your dick to have like a mystical power. You should just be able to summon it. And that's awesome.
If it's a spirit tool from another dimension, you don't have to carry it around in your bag. Just summon it. It's sick. I like it.
Kamen Riders don't carry bags.
You don't have to carry it around in the back of your pants or wherever Gaim kept the Sengoku driver.
I don't even know.
It's a mystery.
They would just like show them from the waist up and they would pull it from the bottom of the frame.
In his pocket, of course.
It just shrinks down. It's like a Pokeball.
Yeah, exactly. Just hit the middle.
Aesthetically, Ghost is doing great. Story-wise, character-wise, maybe not so great. Although Akari is growing on me, and so is Takeru.
I think, like I said last episode, I'm going to wait until more characters show up, until especially Spectre shows up. I'm really excited for Spectre.
You don't have to wait long.
Yeah, great. I think a lot of people are spectating that he's going to be a dickhole like Knight.
Spectating?
Did I say...
Fuck
Speculating.
You.
Speculating.
Fucking specterating, you asshole.
Specterating that he's going to be a dickhole like Ren.
I think he is going to be a dickhole.
They're all like, oh, I hope he's not. Are you idiots? That would be great.
I agree. I think that he should be a dickhole.
I would love it. It would be a perfect foil for Takeru. And they could play well.
He's a nice guy. It would be like, I haven't even watched fucking Fourze, but like Fourze and Meteor, like, if they were just best pals straight out the gate, you wouldn't feel like anything was earned.
It wouldn't be interesting to watch.
Yeah, and I would love to see Takeru and whoever the fuck Spectre's name is become bestest pals way later.
Yeah.
But that should be something that's earned throughout the series.
Well, yeah, because it's more fun to watch two characters grow and change over the course of a show than to watch them not. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I mean, it really depends on the situations and the writing. You can start out a show with two bestest pals in it or whatever, and it can be just as cool and engrossing as one where dudes hate each other. But that type of writing isn't really Tokusatsu's strong suit these days.
Yeah. I think
their strong suit is people bashing heads over absolutely nothing and then becoming friends later.
That's fine by me. Ghost for me is it's not out. I'm not going to discount it this early.
No.
I'm still quite interested to see where it goes. I'm going to keep watching, obviously, but this episode was just kind of a weak one.
I liked it better than the last one.
Okay.
That is my final stamp.
Okay.
And everyone knows Jeff has good opinions.
Yeah, everyone.
Everyone except everyone who tells me what my opinions are like.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Liam.
Do you want to hear the plot synopsis for Movie Wars Genesis?
Do I?
Oh, boy. So the movie involves...
I hear it stars noted beard enthusiast Leonardo da Vinci.
We'll get to that in a second. So the movie involves time travel. Ghost and Drive. Ghost is chasing a Ganma, and he and Shinosuke are thrown 10 years into the past because of a rift in space-time. And Shinosuke gets to talk to Krim while he's still a person, and Takeru gets to meet his dad.
Chris Pepler gets to take another check-in.
Chris Pepler gets to do some body acting. Let's see what he's got.
Let's see if he's stiff and awkward as fuck like he was anytime he showed up in Drive.
Oh boy. All the Roidmudes get to... They're revived in present day, and Spectre and Mach have to take up the mantle and fight them. And Chaser
Mach
apparently...
has his good personality.
Yeah, I guess. And Chaser comes back, somehow, to help them. And Takeru wants to save his father and change the past.
As you would.
But it's all a trap, because it was set by Leonardo da Vinci.
Not like somebody pretending to be Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci becomes a Ganma.
He's revived.
And he's the villain.
He's revived as a Ganma. And did you see the design for him?
He's hilarious looking.
He's got like 6 arms and 4 legs because it's supposed to be like the Vitruvian Man.
Yeah, he's also got a giant plastic beard. And a big floppy plastic, like, artist's beret hat from the fucking classical age.
He looks hysterical. He's funny.
I'm an artist.
Okay.
And,
allegedly.
not like an artiste. Yeah, allegedly. And Leonardo da Vinci is actually, like, one of my heroes.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how they make him into, like, a bloodthirsty villain.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess that it's gonna be an impersonator, and they think we're fucking stupid enough to think that Leonardo da Vinci is gonna be the real villain.
It's gonna be like a game of pretending to be Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah.
But I just wonder how they're gonna, like, make it seem like it's him the whole time. Are people gonna be, like, surprised, or are they gonna be like, fuck you, Leonardo da Vinci, I knew this would happen. You monster.
I always, reading all those history books, I always knew.
Leonardo da Vinci was, like, the most fucking middle of the road, never offended anybody who didn't understand art and shit. He was just, I want to make some inventions. Here's a whirligig.
Yeah, I don't know.
Get the fuck out of my house so I can sketch.
I think I'm most interested to find out what Da Vinci's motivation is going to be for all this, if he even has one.
His motivation is to get an Eyecon.
He wants to have the Da Vinci Eyecon. He wants to get the... If this is a crossover movie, it could be like the Drive Eyecon that he's trying to get, maybe.
I hope there is a Da Vinci Eyecon. I don't know what the fuck you could do with that, but I think if they're gonna do a historical artist, Leonardo da Vinci's the way to go.
Yeah, he's the man in terms of historical artists. He's number one, I think. Most famous.
I mean, there are others, of course, that they could go for, like a Rembrandt or a Michelangelo.
They're not gonna fucking do Rembrandt. They might do Michelangelo, but Japanese people don't know Rembrandt.
Any of the turtles.
Any of the turtles, I guess. Yeah, those are your options.
Except Donatello Bernini. Nobody gives a fuck about that guy.
And maybe Picasso. They might do, but...
Fuck Picasso.
What is your problem with Picasso?
Picasso is a fucker, and I hate him. That's my problem with Picasso.
Okay. Picasso, I have a feeling this goes back like 10 years.
No, Picasso
or
is the number one cubist, right? But he fucking sucks at cubism. He's like, there's another cubist who I can't remember the name of right now, but he did like the nude descending stairs cubism. That is fucking amazing. And Leonardo da Vinci's like, his lay's got a tit on the side and a circle. Give me money.
Okay. Well, I'm not an artist, so I'm not gonna weigh in on this.
If you like Picasso, I'm sorry for offending you, one. And for 2, go fuck yourself.
So anyways, there's a trailer. There's a trailer out for this new movie. And I'll link it to you in the blog post. You can check it out. It's on YouTube. And if you buy tickets to go there, you get not only a little magnet, a little drive-in ghost magnet that you can slap on a fridge or what the fuck ever.
It's Duchamp. Marcel Duchamp. He did the new Descending Stairs. He's the best cubist. Fuck off. Go ahead, Liam.
Okay, I'm sure this podcast is richer for that edition. Thank you. You get those little stupid fridge magnets, but you can also get... You can also get
fanny pack.
You get a Ghost Driver fanny pack. I want that shit. Maybe you can get it from like the Bandai.
Would you wear that, Liam? Liam, who won't even wear a fucking t-shirt that has video games on it unless no one will know what it is. Would you wear that?
No, never. But it might look good on my desk.
Would you ever wear a fanny pack in general?
No.
That seems like your style.
No. What? I'm not a fashionable man, but I'm not going to wear a fanny pack. No.
Fanny packs are probably going to come back into style soon.
Yeah, probably. I project.
I wouldn't wear one even if it was in style. It's probably really useful. It's like a big giant pocket right above your pee-pee.
I guess if you want a huge pocket or something, and you don't mind...
It was like an acceptable tiny purse for fat tourists.
Acceptable? Yeah, okay. Only, yeah. You could just have a backpack or something. Or a
What are you, a child?
You could have a messenger bag.
What are you, a child?
Adults wear messenger bags.
Put this fucking marsupial pack around your waist like an adult.
Look.
What else happened in the news?
I want to talk about fanny packs more. I don't know about you.
I think the fanny pack cast is over.
There's also a trailer out. Well, it's not a trailer, really. It's little bits and pieces of footage from Bertride War Genesis. And it's like you get to see some transforming from Drive and Mach. You get to see Type Formula and Dead Heat Mach. Just
everybody loves Dead Heat.
Yeah, it's a little bit of footage. It's a nice little thing. Did you see also there's like a pachinko machine coming out that's got like evil Showa riders in it?
Dude, I want an actual game with those graphics. It looks fucking immaculate.
Well, Japanese people love to waste money on pachinko machines. I guess it's not a waste because they make a shitload of dollars back, but like...
Yeah.
It's a waste because it's not being used to its full potential. You see all these cool cinematics and you're like, oh, I want like a fighting game or an action game or something. And it's like, no, flick coins into these slots, you idiot. You moron.
It's beautiful, though. Have you seen it? Like, the graphics aren't anything to write home about in the modern age or whatever, but it's the best-looking graphics I've ever seen on Rider anything.
Yeah, and the designs...
It looks better than the CG from the fucking show.
The designs are really nifty, too. They're like these evil versions of a bunch of Showa riders, and they look really cool.
They look like SIC figures come to life.
Except they don't make me want to vomit all over myself when I look at them.
They look like SIC figures that haven't had a lighter held to them for several hours before they were released.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So yeah, check that out. I don't even...
check out Bertride War, and the, I think the pachinko machine is called Full Throttle, and it has nothing to do with Drive.
Yeah, I don't have the video on me, I just remembered it, I don't have it written down or anything, I just remembered it right now. So, I don't know any of the details.
I've been watching videos from it for days. I probably should have remembered it.
Well, we got it here anyways. We'll have more info about that on the blog post, so you can check that out.
What else, Liam?
In slightly heavier news, in much heavier news, the voice actor Eiji Maruyama has passed away. If you don't know him, he played Daizujin in Zero Ranger and a bunch of other monsters.
And Zero Ranger is what got me and Liam into Super Sentai.
Yeah,
it's
one of the only Sentai seasons I've seen. Yeah,
it's a shame.
It's sad news. Unfortunately, he's done a lot of work in Toku.
A ton of voice work, like a ton.
Yeah,
I don't even want to get into the list, but the thing that we remember him from is being Daizujin.
Yeah, that's how I know him. And he passed away actually quite a bit ago. He passed away September 24th. It's just being reported.
We don't really hear about that kind of stuff over here until much later.
Yeah, it's being reported recently, and the cause of death is unknown. Obviously, they don't like to release that sort of stuff in Japan. And he died at 84 years old. So that's the info.
So way to bring this shit down, Liam.
Rest in peace, Eiji Maruyama.
Rest in peace.
It's a shame.
you can join Daizujin in the heavens. Don't laugh at that. Fuck you. That was beautiful.
No, it wasn't.
Daizujin was God.
He was God, I guess.
He was God made out of dinosaurs.
He was God made out of 5 dinosaurs.
Don't write in telling us that most of them weren't dinosaurs. We don't give a fuck. Right.
Just preempt that real quick.
Do you have any more news?
No. Let's do emails.
I've got news.
Oh, do ya?
I've got some special news.
Okay.
This is very tenuously related to Kamen Rider.
Okay.
A Kickstarter that made over $30,000 to fund a video game called Mansion Lord has taken a bad turn. The game will never be made because the creators of the game have disappeared off the face of the earth with the $30,000 in tow.
But Jeff,
it's been 2 years, and you'll never guess the name of the group behind this.
Jeff, what does this have to do with Kamen Rider?
The name of the creators of this game, their studio name, is Golgom Games.
They knew going in exactly what they were going to do.
You bet your ass. And here's the best part about it. You're like, well, maybe Golgom means something else, right? No, their fucking logo is the 3 hooded sages from Kamen Rider Black.
What the fuck?
Just stylized.
What in the name of God?
So, since Kotaro Minami defeated Golgom, they've fallen on hard times. And the only way they could make money to restart their evil machinations is through Kickstarter.
They should have been more honest about it. Instead of, we're going to make a video game, just like, we need money to create more monsters, to kill your family.
Yeah, Kickstarter has said that pretty much tough luck.
Yeah, there's no... Kickstarter is very shaky about stuff like that. There's no legal obligations or anything like that. You give your money and you just cross your fingers and hope.
Apparently the person who registered GolgomGames.com was named Michael Wong. So we salute you, Michael Wong, you fucking asshole. You sold out to Golgom.
When you manage to revive Shadow Moon with all that money, give us a Passover.
We gave you a shout-out that's worth our lives.
That's shit, though. That must be awful.
Yeah, it really must be.
Kickstarter's a weird thing, because before Kickstarter, me and everyone else, we were always like, oh, those game publishers, they're always pushing these unrealistic demands on devs and stuff like that. And then all these people, they become the publishers, right? They become the money.
And when they start pushing the unrealistic shit on them.
Well, here's the thing. We can't. They already have our money, so when they don't deliver, we're like, what the fuck? And they're just like...
That is the real path of a Kickstarter. It's pure hype, give money, wait forever, be disappointed.
And that's not all Kickstarters. Some Kickstarter games turn out very well. FTL.
Yeah, some Kickstarters in general turn out amazing.
Yeah, a lot of Kickstarters, they go perfectly just the way they should, but there are just a lot of ones where it's like, here's this enormous hype machine that will never, ever be quite what you think it'll be. It's a fucking shame.
Sadly. It's a sham, is what it is.
It's a cool idea. Kickstarter is a really amazing idea, and it's done a lot of amazing things, but it has, just like everything, it has a dark side.
Yeah. I have another piece of news.
Oh, do you?
Yes. On October 24th, that is this Saturday, at 8 p.m., Liam and I are going to be streaming Kamen Rider Zeto.
That's 8 p.m. Eastern, by the way.
8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be streaming Kamen Rider Zeto at our SyncTube, and we're going to put it in the blog post and the YouTube post this time.
And if I forget, Jeff will be saying this while I'm editing it, and I'll see, and I'll go, oh yes, I should get the SyncTube link.
And in case I forget to do that... The SyncTube is https://sync2.be/r/rider-club-radio.
Okay.
So if you got all that...
No one is going to type that shit in. They're just going to look for the link.
Not to mention you're going to edit this shit out anyway. What's the matter?
We'll see. We'll see about editing this out.
It's going to be in.
If you didn't come to the last SyncTube, you missed out. It was fun. And
we had about 30 people. besides us show up, and we had a rollicking good time.
Yeah.
Watching a terrible movie.
And this movie's good, so you want to see it. So come and check it out.
This is a good movie. There are still things to lampoon about it. There's a part in the middle.
Oh,
where
yeah.
Everyone's going to be very confused.
Don't spoil that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I can't wait to watch it with you.
Yeah, the first is bad, and don't feel bad if you missed it. But Zeto is pretty good, so I recommend it.
Yeah, you gotta watch Zeto. I'm trying to personally inject more Showa into your lives.
Yeah, it's a noble pursuit.
Zeto is at the tail end of Showa. It has amazing special effects. You don't have to follow a big, heavy story, I guess. And it's got great fight scenes, and it's just great.
So yeah, get in on that.
Yeah, come and visit us at our home.
It's a rollicking good time.
Let's move on to mail. What do you say?
Alright, let's do it.
Alright, our first email is from Snowy, or Snowy Jake.
Sup?
Water Crystal Jake.
Oh, God.
He says, "Hey, Jeff and Liam, longtime fan, first-time writer. I wanted to hear your opinions on a more mythological-based writer series. Jeff's idea about a Hercules icon mainly sparked the idea, but I think it'd be pretty interesting to see a broad range of mythological gods and heroes. Kind of like the theme of Wizard, only totally not wasted potential. As always, love the show and hope you guys keep on making fans." Thanks, buddy. What do you think of a mythological writer show, Liam?
I think that's a really cool idea. You could have a main character who's all about Greek myth, and then you could have like Norse mythology, Egyptian mythology, Persian mythology. There's just so many like pantheons you can draw from, so much rich legends that you could do from all over the world.
That's true. And like the evil organization could be, or not, it doesn't even have to be an organization, but the evil group could be made up of like evil mythological figures.
Yeah.
From various mythologies, but they would be like kaijin monsters based on them somehow.
That'd be pretty cool. Or you could do monsters too. Like there's lots of monsters in mythology that could be turned into kaijins easily.
Absolutely. Like they've been done before, but they could do it as the real theme of it, not just like I want this to look like a cyclops for some reason.
Just by the way, here's a minotaur.
I think that'd be a pretty damn good idea.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
And I would hope that the main character had a Hercules form.
I think...
And then I could be like Liam and point out that I made that up every fucking time.
Did you make up the Hercules thing? I thought it was our friend that came up with that idea.
Oh, shit, you're right.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Fuck!
You ain't cool like me.
Oh my god. Yeah, our friend actually came up with a common writer Heracles long before this. So I guess I'm just fucked in the butt.
If you didn't know that we were hack frauds before today.
So yeah, it's a great idea. Probably never happen.
No, never say never. It could be someday.
That's true. If it happens, you heard it here first on Writer Club Radio. TM.
TM, please listen to my podcast.
Our next email is from Casey.
Sup?
Casey says, "Hey RCR, I'm really enjoying the show. Right before I write my question, I just want to say how I enjoyed how you tried to subtly shill your Twitter in the earlier episodes."
Did we do it subtly earlier?
I don't think so.
I don't remember. I always
Now
remember.
for my question.
Okay.
Have you ever felt like a writer or writer character in a moment in your life? I once was talking to someone and tried to describe something, and my little brother was able to make a very good description, and I just went with it. I felt like I was Daisuke and he was Gon from Kabuto. You know the show that I scrub and release every Friday at yongooveryonder.wordpress.com?
Now that wasn't a subtle plug.
That was perfect.
So was that the point of this email, or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a question in there. He
Okay.
said, have you ever felt like a writer or a writer character in a moment in your life?
Okay. One time something weird happened to me. I was walking to work, and there was this dude wandering down the street behind me, and he was I think he was drunk or something, and he was rambling about how everybody in this city, they're all wimps, and he could punch them all, or whatever, and he walked past me, and there was this kid walking towards him, and the kid tried his best to avoid him, but he turned and he cornered the kid in like a driveway on the street, and he started ranting and raving at the kid, and the kid's just staring at him. And I remember I yelled at the guy. I said, "Leave him alone, he's just a kid." And then he looked at me, and I was like, oh god, he was just yelling about how he's gonna beat everybody up. Holy shit. I just made a terrible mistake. I remembered in that moment that I'm a complete coward, and then he turned and walked away, mumbling something about how, I wasn't gonna beat the kid up anyway, whatever. And I was like, oh my god.
That sounds like a really good real story that actually
happened. It did, I swear.
Alright, I've got
a story. That
was
weird. What about you? Yeah.
I got a story. One time I was hanging out at a friend's house.
Okay.
And we were in his backyard and we were grilling up some hot dogs. And because it's America, we have to have hot dogs.
Okay.
At every meal.
Of course.
So we were hanging out and some of our lady friends were there and some of our other friends were there and everybody was having a really good time. And then the wall exploded and a giant Spider-Man monster came out and he attacked us with spider webs. But then I transformed into a Kamen Rider and did a Rider kick and he exploded. And in that moment, I felt a little bit like a Kamen Rider.
Wow. Yeah, I would feel a little bit like one too, yeah. I can see the connections.
I mean, it's a tenuous connection, of course.
Yeah, you gotta search a little bit, but...
But in that moment, I felt like a Kamen Rider. I live a really fucking boring life, is what I'm saying.
Nothing even mundane crap like mine, nothing?
I don't know. I try to be as nice to folks as I can, and I try to.
What about when you rescued that cat?
I didn't rescue. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that's a story I can tell.
Tell us about the time you rescued the cat.
You're not talking about the cat I made a box for out front yesterday, are you?
No, wasn't there the cat that you found underneath your apartment building or something?
Yeah, there was that was what I thought you meant, but I didn't just want to segue into this and you go, what the fuck?
That's good we cleared that up. Jeff saves a lot of cats, you gotta narrow it down.
That's my pastime. I lived in a really shitty apartment complex, and there are a lot of really shady characters that live there. And I heard a knock at my door one evening, and I was very hesitant to answer.
Okay.
Because of that. But when I opened it, there was this, old lady there, and she said, "Have you seen my cat?" And I was like, oh my god, there's a crazy lady here. She thinks she has a cat. And... And she was like, my cat's been gone for, 2 days now. I have to feed her. I don't know where she is. And I was, noticeably heartbroken. Understandably heartbroken for this lady. But I didn't see a cat. So she went home, and around 11 o'clock that night, I started hearing meowing. And we have a cat.
Yeah.
But it didn't sound anything like that cat, and it sounds super muffled. And I followed it around and eventually realized it was coming from directly below my floor.
Okay.
So I went outside and there's a giant, crawl space hole that leads underneath the building. And it smells like millions of people have died underneath this building when I get there. But I shine my flashlight under the building and there is a tiny cat back under the building with its shiny little eyes staring at me, meowing. And it's back amongst a bunch of pipes. So, I had to lay out a bunch of towels end to end to crawl under there because the ground was moist and disgusting. And I grabbed the cat and carried it out. Or crawled it out, anyway.
Yeah, you did the solid snake crawl out of there.
Yeah, the... really awkward, uncoordinated solid snake and crawled out of there and hit my head 6 times while a cat was furiously trying to murder me.
That sounds like...
its tiny little paws were going at my arm as hard as it could.
That sounds like a very unglamorous introduction to a main rider. How you want to set up he's a good guy, have him save a cat from underneath an apartment building.
Have him save a cat from a tree or something. At least... I was probably crawling through shit and dead bodies at that point, but I gave the old lady the cat, and she was very appreciative. And I felt a little bit like a rider in that moment. That's something Hongo would do.
I'm sure if Hongo saw a cat in a tree, he'd be like, yeah, great, I'll get that. But if Hongo saw a cat behind a bunch of sludge and shit, he'd be like, fuck that.
Bullshit. He would do a bunch of fancy arm motions and leap in the air, and then he would be underneath the building.
Standing up fully upright somehow.
So, I guess that story isn't as interesting as I thought it was going to be, but I guess I felt a little bit like a rider. Okay. Also, anytime I get to ride a motorcycle.
Yeah. To be a common rider...
Which I'm trying to do more often.
to be a Kamen Rider, you don't have to transform. You just have to have a really shitty life, I guess.
Well, I'm there.
We got any other emails?
Yeah, we've got plenty of more emails, buddy.
All right.
Sorry that went on so long, everyone. Let's move on. We got an email from Chris. He says, "Hey, Barry Bros. Does anybody even remember that shit?"
Apparently Chris does.
Apparently. I'm not even going to explain that. As always, loving the podcast. Sadly, I missed the movie night due to Aussie hours, but hopefully I'll catch the next one. That's happening at 8 Eastern this Saturday. We're watching Kamen Rider Zero.
I think Aussie hours are going to get in the way again.
Probably. My question is a simple one. Has a series ever taken you by surprise? For me, it was Den-O. I avoided watching it for the longest time, but when I did, it shot to one of my personal faves.
Series taking me by surprise.
What do you got?
I'd say Gaim took me by surprise quite a bit.
That's true.
I wasn't expecting
the tonal shift was ridiculous.
Yeah, with all the other writers I was watching, I sort of knew what I was going into from the start. But with Gaim, I really didn't know what I was getting into, because, that tone shift around, like, the 10th episode or so, it was a real shocker to me, and it was a surprise in a good way. It was a pleasant surprise. And I think
That's true.
I like Gaim a lot because of that. What about you, Jeff? What do you got?
When I first started reading stuff about Kamen Rider Blade, like, ages ago, I thought, man, this sounds pretty cool. I gotta watch this. And then I watched the first couple episodes, and I was like, man, this is kind of shitty. And then eventually people were like, no, man, it's really awesome. You gotta go back and watch it. You gotta give it a chance. And I went back, and I'm on episode, 9 now.
Okay.
Maybe, I think I'm on episode 8, actually. And it's still kind of shitty. And that took me by surprise, because usually when people are so adamant about something being good, it ends up being good. So I had my hopes up again. Fuck all of you!
You tricked the poor boy.
It's actually not that bad, I'm fucking with you. I'm enjoying it more this time around than I did last. I'll say that, but it's still pretty. It's not great. It's all right.
There's the Jeff endorsement. Put that on the back of the box.
It's all right. And you have to lilt the letters up at the end.
Like the 3 question marks at the end. Jeff.
Yeah, I don't know if a series has really taken me by surprise all that much. Besides Gaim, I don't really want to give the same answer because that feels like a cop-out, so I said all that bullshit about Blade.
I think the thing is, Kamen Rider has been around for long enough that you sort of have a consciousness about it. If you're part of the fan base, you sort of know what a series is all about before you're going in. Except if it's the newest series. But the newer series aren't really about surprises, with Gaim being the exception. Drive didn't really have any real shockers in it. Not until way into the series, and Ghost doesn't really seem like it seems like it's kind of playing the formula pretty safe as well. So
far we've only got 3 episodes.
That's true.
I mean, how many episodes did it take before Gaim got such a huge tonal shift?
Yeah, it was 11. I'm kind of praying for Ghost to really mix shit up like that. I hope that's how it goes. But yeah, that's our answer.
Welp, that's the answer.
Welp. What else you got, Jeff?
We got an email from number 2 superfan Barrett Stanko. I guess he's decided he's the number 2 superfan.
Is that how he labeled himself?
Yeah, he did. I don't know if you can just choose that.
Well, he graciously accepted the 2nd place position. That's okay.
He says he started watching Black, and he likes it.
Damn straight.
He does ask a lot of people if they're okay. That's fun. And he goes on to say that he doesn't think Akari is that bad, and he was proven right in this episode.
Yeah, really.
Way to go.
Does he have a question?
Yeah, so question time. What do you think is the worst plot point in anything Kamen Rider related? Water crystals is probably mine, along with sick tween love.
I don't know if I'd call water crystals a plot point. It was like a visual effect.
A really shitty visual effect. From Kamen Rider the First, if you didn't listen to the last episode.
Oh boy. Jeff, why don't you go first? What's your least favorite plot point in any Rider?
Oh man. This is such a, fertile ground to spoil shit.
Well, let's mark our spoilers.
Well, I could spoil for you is the thing,
Oh.
because I've seen some series you haven't.
You know what? Let me know what series it is, and I'll tell you if I know or not, or if I care.
You won't know.
Okay.
Because it's the plot point I've brought up before.
Is it Double?
Yeah.
Okay, I know what it is. You can say
I don't know if that's my most hated or whatever, but it's the one that I think about the most.
It's at least right at the end, if it's what you're talking about. If I don't,
Yeah, it is right at the end.
It's right at the end, so you can at least just kind of ignore it, but it ruins the gravity, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Like, a happily ever after type of thing is fine.
Yeah.
But not when you've already created something better.
Yeah. It's they reach back and they retroactively fuck the ending.
I would also say, is the ending part of The Man at the End of Time from Kabuto.
Oh boy.
Is also one that I absolutely hate.
I was going to talk about Kabuto. Kabuto is fertile ground.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
want to talk about that for bad plot points. You got the Red Shoes system, you got natives, you got the Dark Kitchen arc, you got everything in the last third of the show.
The Dark Kitchen arc was fun, Liam.
It was fun. It was a good arc. It was funny. It was weird, but like it is the heralding of the downfall of Kabuto.
That's true. It's the trumpets before the army arrives to obliterate your favorite series.
Yeah, Kabuto would have been way up there for me if it wasn't for the last third. But that's a story for the spoiler cast,
which you
should
listen
listen
to. Apparently,
yeah. It's way back.
Yeah, it is way fucking back.
It's way back now. When's the next spoiler cast? Never.
I don't know. We have a spoiler cast coming up, technically.
Technically. Eventually.
And we'll also do a spoiler cast, also, on a different series, eventually.
Eventually.
We'll get around
we'll have
to it.
When it's done. But as far as my number one most hated plot point, I'm not going to pick anything from Kabuto because that's just straight up cheating. I think... I hesitate to say this thing from Kiva because I haven't actually seen all of Kiva.
Oh my god!
I have seen Kiva's ending. And you know Kiva's ending, right?
Yeah, I do.
That shit is egregious. That's a crime. That's a crime.
Come on, Liam. It leaves it open for a sequel series that is obviously going to happen someday.
I'll leave your anus open when I'm done with you, Jeff. You fuck. That's a terrible, terrible ending. It's.
Did anybody else just hear that? What? I want to backtrack a bit and dissect a little bit of what you just said.
No, I'm not going to pick Kiva.
So what else are you going to pick?
Kiva. Oh, Christ.
You're going to have to go back to Kabuto, motherfucker.
No, I'm not going back to Kabuto. No, I will not. I'm going to say Ryuki not actually having 13 riders.
Is that a plot point?
The plot point was that there was supposed to be 13 riders, and then there wasn't, because they ran out of time or budget or something.
They didn't think... Like, they finished the series, it was like, holy shit! We were supposed to have 13 riders!
They're like, oh, but you got 2, you got alternative 0, we'll make that, that'll count for 2, and then, that's like, I think counting alternative and alternative 0, if you really want to stretch it out, I think that's like 10 or 11. They never hit 13. Yeah,
they never, ever hit 13. The 13 Rider War.
They hit it in the movies. The awful movie, episode final, and the fucking dreadful TV special, Kamen Rider Ryuki 13 Riders. But
I believe you mean the masterpiece, Kamen Rider Ryuki 13 Riders?
They're both so bad. But that's that, I think. I think the 13 Riders thing from Ryuki really bugged the shit out of me. I know a lot of people would expect me to pick Ryuki's ending, but you know what? Ryuki's ending wasn't that bad.
I can agree with that. If you're going to say Liam has shitty opinions for it, I also have shitty opinions. And I'm sure no one will have trouble saying that.
I thought it was fine. So that's my answer.
Somebody put forth the idea of a crossover movie starring Shinji. Like, if they could get back his actor.
I think they wouldn't have trouble with that. He still does the voices. They bring him back for Bertride War games.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that shit.
Yeah, I've seen a picture of him in the recording booth, and he looks much older now, but you can still quite tell it's him. He's got shorter hair and a beard now, but...
A beard?
Yeah, he's got something of a facial hair. It's not like a huge manly thing. It's just like a little. But if you play the Betrayed War games and you listen to Ryuki talk, you'll notice that the sound alike is very, very good, and that's because it's him. So that's cool. I don't think they would have trouble bringing it back.
It is Twitter user Onua72 who said Ryuki Riders versus Gaim Riders would be one of his dream crossover movies.
Ooh.
Ryuki has to find a way to stop everyone from killing each other while Odin hunts Gaim down.
That would be pretty sick. I would like something where it's just a bunch of different multi-rider series like that. Rider series that have a ton of riders like that. And, Kabuto and Hibiki and all them. Where they're always running around fucking with each other.
Yeah, that sounds like a brilliant movie.
It sounds like a clusterfuck, but...
Yeah, it does.
It would be great.
Oh, and Barrett says, keep up the good work. P.S. If Ghost is themed after a firefly, that would make sense, as the firefly's light is supposed to be the soul of fallen warriors in Japanese folklore. So that might be purposeful.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
We have one last email today.
Okay.
And it's from Common Rider Dank, not to be confused with Dank Rider.
Of course.
Common Rider Dank says, hello, RCR. Been listening since around episode 8, but this is my first time writing in. I have 2 questions for you weebs.
Hey.
Episode 8? Jesus. You might be the longest listening fan.
No, I'm sure there's a couple more.
Question number 1. Favorite rider kick?
Oh my god.
What do you got, Liam? Favorite rider kick?
I like the... what was the name of it? The Super Electro Inazuma kick that Stronger does when he charges up. That was one that for me felt that you could feel how powerful it was when it hit and how much stronger it was than the regular one. Because it had a bunch of different new special effects on it and he was all silver.
Yeah, shit didn't just turn red anymore and then disappear.
Yeah, it was a real doozy. So that's my number 1. How about you, Jeff?
My number 1 for a different reason is V3's return kick, because it makes absolutely no fucking sense.
What? I'm not familiar with this. What is it?
He does, he leaping kicks into somebody, but he bounces off of them, does a flip in the air, and then kicks them again.
That's fucking sweet.
It's awesome as fuck, but it makes 0 sense, and I love seeing it. Because it's 90 jump cuts.
Yeah.
To make sense.
I love all the old rider kicks and old big Super Sentai finishing attacks. It's always a million jump cuts that's all supposed to be one jump.
Yeah.
Which is clearly just them jumping multiple times. They do a front flip, then they do a back flip, then they do a side flip, all in one jump, and then they do the kick. It's really fun looking.
It is. If I had to pick which rider kick gets me the hypest every single time, it's anytime there's a double rider kick.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing on earth will get me hyper than a double rider kick.
Yeah, team-ups are always cool.
And nothing will get me even more hype than Rider 1 and Rider 2 doing a double rider kick together.
That's a good one. I would nominate Kuga as an honorable mention. He's got a really cool one.
That's true. Kuga's setup for his rider kick is always really great, where he puts his foot out behind him and lifts the heel up, and the heel starts glowing.
Yeah, and when he runs, the fire goes around his foot when it touches the ground.
Yeah, and it leaves behind fire prints for a second every time he steps.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
It really does. Not to mention the atomic bomb going off every time he kicks somebody.
I like that he teaches himself to do the flip kick too. He doesn't just know it. He figures that shit out.
He teaches himself everything. Yeah. I absolutely love every time he gets a new form to begin with. He's like, I'm blue!
Yeah.
I'm green now!
He doesn't know what's going on. Kuga is very realistic compared to other riders.
Yeah, he is.
As realistic as Karate Bugman can be, that's Kuga. I like that.
Kamen Rider Dank has a second question.
Okay.
He says, do you think it's possible for Rider to go back to being a less gimmick-focused series, or are we stuck in this format until Toei goes broke?
Speaking of Kuga, I think the latter. I think we're stuck until it stops working. Why would Toei's a company that want to make money? Why would they break the formula unless it stopped making money?
They're twisting the formula already, at least in a way that we've perceived. It might not be true, but if they're tilting things younger. It could be that they're trying to use the same formula, but get back their profits.
Yeah, I mean, it's a kid's
And
show first.
eventually, if that doesn't work out, we might get something different. But until their hand is forced by money, no, we're not getting anything different.
Yeah, I know this is weird to think, but I kind of hope that Toei starts losing lots of money, so they experiment, maybe.
It could be that they just hold on to it harder as well.
Oh, God. It's, it's art through adversity, though, right? Like, haven't you ever heard of a story of, like, someone's making a movie, and, like, everything goes fucking wrong, and they're running out of money, they're running out of time, and then they put it out, and it's just a fucking masterpiece? Something
That's
like that
true.
I would like to happen with...
You get a lot of shit on the opposite spectrum, where everything goes wrong, the production is a fucking nightmare, everything that could possibly happen to ruin it happens, and then you get Troll 2.
Well, I'm hoping maybe the former will happen with Toei and Kamen Rider.
And it's not like the way things are now is awful or anything, it's just maybe getting a little stale.
Yeah, it's by the numbers. We're getting a lot of Rider series that are just kind of safe.
I mean, they have their own like twist on the formula. Like it's such a slight twist, though. It's like you're not putting a circle peg into a square hole or anything. You're just like tilting the peg slightly.
It's not really it's more of a thematic twist than like a writing twist. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
The way they create the show is still mostly the same, but it's a shame.
Yeah, here's hoping that even if like the way it's presented stays the same, that we get something a little bit different when it comes to the writing itself.
Maybe we will. I think maybe soon. Maybe.
Hopefully with Ghost. That's what my hope was from the very beginning.
Yeah, there's still a
hearing
chance
about Ghost.
There's still a
Things are
chance
gonna be
with
different.
Ghost. Could be
So
good.
here's hoping.
Yeah.
And that's all the emails we have tonight.
Okay. So we've got an email. That's riderclubradio@gmail.com.
If you write into us, we might talk about your thing on the air. And even if we don't, we read all your emails and we appreciate every single one of them.
Yeah, so thanks. And if email's not your thing, if you want to send us something that's 140 characters or less, you can shoot us up on Twitter. That's @RiderClubRadio. So be sure to check that out.
We interact with people constantly on the Twitter. I check it pretty much all day long. I'll throw up some questions on there like, hey, what do you think about this shit? What would you like to see in Rider? And it always starts a cool discussion. People jump in, like people discuss with each other. It's a great time.
It's an experience, so make sure you do that, please.
We don't have a Facebook. Facebook sucks. We don't have an Instagram. Nobody needs to see what we fucking look like, our ugly-ass mugs.
It would ruin the whole show.
We do have a blog. That's riderclubradio.wordpress.com. Not only do we post episodes on there, and, of course, the little extras we always talk about in these episodes.
The news and stuff.
But, every now and then, I also write a little column called riderclub.text, and I'm working on one of those right now.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I write little dissertations on things, and you can disagree with them. I know people love doing that. It'd be good times for everybody.
Jeff makes little insights on Kamen Rider, and they're very fun. So look forward to that.
And I'm always open to discussion on them and everything.
Yeah.
So, contact us, man. It's awesome.
So, I'm trying to think of a good segue into saying goodbye.
Oh God, I have to go home.
Oh, I gotta go mow my lawn. I got some chores to take care of.
Don't leave me, senpai. Good night, everybody.
Bye.